Hi guys, good afternoon or good day. Following the introduction video or the introductory video, I figured I should explain some other softwares that we're going to be using for this course. Throughout the course mostly. We probably will be needing some other softwares which will be mentioned during the course. But to begin, you should have either Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, right? So basically, I think that Visual Studio Code is best because it's lightweight, can run on any machine, and basically it would force you to probably work with the console more. For Visual Studio, um, it's quite heavy. It has a lot of it needs a lot of dependencies installed and a lot of projects installed for you to be able to use it. So that means your machine must be high end for you to be able to use Visual Studio. And then most of what you'll be doing, you'll be probably working with the GUI. So I would advise that if you get Visual Studio Code for at least for the beginning of this program. So maybe much later in the program when we're working with frameworks and the likes, or working with ASP.NET and the likes, then you can decide to get Visual Studio. But either ways, whatever you decide, I would be using Visual Studio. I'm pretty sure the other mentors will also be using Visual Studio, or Visual Studio Code rather. I will be using Visual Studio Code, and I'm pretty sure the other mentors will be using Visual Studio Code for the beginning of this um, um, program. Maybe later on, things might change depending on the needs. But for now, this is what we'll be working with. So, but if you still intend to download Visual Studio, then you could come to visualstudio.microsoft.com/downloads to get the community edition, right? Because it's free. The other ones are paid for. The community edition is free. And the most recent version is Visual Studio 2022, right? So, I'll advise that you get this. So to get this, if you're using a Windows, all you need to do is just download here. But if you're using like a MacBook, you download this. Or if you're using a Linux machine, you can download from any of these variations, right? But just all you need to do is just click and then it downloads. But I already have it on my PC, so I'm not just going to I'm not going to continue with the download. So I'm just going to cancel this. Then the installation process is pretty simple. Just follow the installation process and then you get what you need. Um, so, so when you finish installing it, this is what it's going to look like. It's coming up, so let's give it a couple of seconds. Yeah, this is what it's going to look like. When you're done installing it, you have a little bit of walkthroughs or tutorials to, to at least understand what's happening with this, right? So you could decide to go through the walkthroughs, it might help you. But something else I want to point to us are the extensions that are going to be necessary for building C# on Visual Studio Code. So extensions are going to make like our productivity grow, and make it easier for us to code with Visual Studio. So all you need to do is come to this extension icon, click on it, and then search the extensions that you're going to be needing. So I'm going to point out a few of them. We have this .NET install tool for extension authors. This is by Microsoft. So all you need to do is just search this, and then I already have it installed. So all you need to do is install it, right? This extension allows acquisition of .NET runtime specifically for Visual Studio Code extension authors, right? So you're going to be needing this. Then something else you're going to be needing is this C# from Microsoft also. It's kind of help us colors our syntax. I'm going to show you an example very soon, right? Also colors our syntax so that you know what is what, where something is starting from, where like a code block is starting from, and where it's ending, and stuff like that. It just makes our code look neater. You could also get this C# colors. So necessary, but you could get it if you want. Then you need this, either of this from, okay, you know what? Why don't I just create like a simple console app so that we see what I'm talking about. That's going to go with social dots. I'm going to .NET. Don't worry about what I'm typing. We're going to explain this when the program starts complete. Let's see. Dash O. I'm going to call it console app. I'm going to call it test console app. Let's call it test console app. So because I'm using my most recent is .NET 6, I want to go back to 5. So I'm going to force it it's 5.0. Let's see if it's going to work. All right, so it's created successfully. I'm going to open it on this Visual Studio Code. All right, so we have a simple console app here. I just want to show you what some of those extensions will help us do, right? So as you can see, the coloring, like I mentioned, right? It points out that, okay, this is a class, this is a namespace, this is a method, and then this is an argument, stuff like that. So just shows you where one stuff is stopping and where the other one is starting from. That way you have an idea of what is happening without really peering into your code, right? And the other one I was pointing out was this, let me see, C# extensions, right? So you need this one because you can just easily create a C# class. Yeah, so you can easily create a C# class or through, yeah, or a C# interface or enum or controller. So one of them is responsible for this, while the other one is responsible for this too. I can't remember which exactly, but I think Josh Creative is responsible for the one with the drop down, where you could add controllers and the likes as you go. Like this one, I think Josh Creative is responsible for this one. So then moving on, you could also get this C# snippets. So let me just even play around with this now. So using Josh Creative C# extensions, I could create a class and just call it example class. And then as you can see, this namespace and stuff, they're already there, right? So I could also create a class by saying new file and example class 2.cs. This is a class, but then for me, without the extension, I would have to now write the namespace myself, and the namespace is test console. Second, let me get this correctly. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Test console. So that's the namespace. Then I also need the class. So it's gonna be public. So you can see the stress I'm going through. For this one, I can just easily get everything out, but for this one, I have to now write out everything. So you definitely would want to get this extension to help yourself better. And then something else, the last one I also wanted you to get is this C# snippets. So with C# snippets, you just type out some shorthand and then to bring out a whole block of code for you, right? So these are some of the shorthand, right? So imagine when I was typing those namespace stuff. Let me see, there's no namespace snippets here. Okay, there is actually, right? So let's see, CTOR. There is one here, CTOR. Not, yeah. Okay, let's say do wow. Let's see what I would do. Right? As you can see, we just created everything for us. Then if I try L6 arrow, this is going to create a constructor, right? So these are just snippets that you can use to make your life easy. If you download, if you install those extensions, right? So these are the extensions once again: C# snippets, C# extensions, C# and .NET install tool. Then any of these other ones, you can just pause your video here and try to get these extensions. Some of these other ones are for other stuff that I work with. So I'm just trying to scroll down to see. Okay, so this Razor runtime compilation, you don't need it yet. Maybe later, but for now you don't need it. Let's see if there's any other one that you might need. Okay, so I think that's just about it, right? So yeah, so just to make sure that a lot of persons are following us on this course, I want to give our first task, and that will be, let me just get a sticky or notepad. Our first task would be make a screenshot of the version okay, let me call this .NET version, .NET version you've installed on your machine after checking with .NET -- version, and also make a screenshot of your installed